All right, welcome to the second video. We're going to be talking about News 12 again, and I am just fed up with this network, and I'm fed up with these snobs upset about their kids having to wear a mask in school. This is what they're throwing a fit over, folks. And we're going to play this. We are going to play this, and I'm going to talk. You saw some of it in the other video, but look at how much.
Macy, there was some
Look at the way she's standing there.
Well, Macy, there was some yelling, there was some swearing, and I saw one person make a rude hand gesture as some of the parents and community members who came here tonight to this school board meeting wanted board members to know exactly what they think about Governor Kathy Hochul's mask mandate.
Our plan on Friday was masks are being strongly recommended but not required for students to stay. So that was the plan.
That was the round of applause from some people after the president of the Farmingdale School Board of Education said that the district is planning to have a mask-optional environment to start the school year. But once parents and community members took to these microphones for the public comment portion of the meeting...
Look at these people. Can you say Karen? I'm telling you, Long Island is infested with these idiots.
A loud, expletive-filled back and forth happened when this woman, who said she trained as a contact tracer and is in favor of continued coronavirus protocols like masking, said this.
This is an institution of education. We have to go with facts and truth. And what I've just heard has nothing to do with either of those things. Thank you.
As she was walking away to the sounds of clapping and booing, the woman made a rude hand gesture towards this man who is in favor of masks being optional.
That wasn't very nice. But, I mean, this is what they cover.
When people follow Governor Hochul's mask mandate.
Are you gonna fight to maintain local control? Are you gonna be the voices for the parents and for our children? You have the power. Are you gonna use it?
I think the governor should cut funding for Farmingdale schools. They're making such a big deal over this. It's ridiculous. All right, and News 12 gives these people all the attention. They give all the attention to this. There are a couple other stories that I want to show you on here because they had the nurses also, which, let's see if we can find it here. Of course, they cover that. Long Island unemployment. Of course, healthcare workers. This is the other thing. I mean, they don't want to get vaccinated.
The first of three
Look at these people.
Protest against vaccination mandates for healthcare workers. News 12's Antoinette Biordi is live in Stony Brook now with more on the walkout.
And you saw this already in the other video.
Workers say they don't want those shots. Antoinette.
They don't want to get vaccinated. They're nurses and they don't want to get vaccinated. They work with vulnerable people, people who are immunocompromised, people, and they don't care about getting vaccinated?
Hospital made their voices heard today, saying they are against mandatory vaccinations.
Let me make it clear. Every pandemic in history, vaccinations were mandatory. Polio, all these diseases.
Stood in support with healthcare workers today.
Look at these people. They're all white.
Vaccine mandate. The mandate announced more than a week.
This is all because of Trump, the 4 years of Trump.
These healthcare workers here say it's their body, their choice.
Well, it's your choice not to work in a hospital then.
Nobody's here saying that somebody shouldn't get vaccinated if they want to. We are for choice.
Nurses were told that if they didn't get vaccinated by next month's deadline, it would result in disciplinary action.
I'm already looking for jobs, not getting any calls. I love my job here. I hate
Well, get vaccinated.
It brings me to tears. It does.
Jessica Franco is
So people are upset.
Fired.
Is about
Freedom. You don't know how good you have it in the United States.
But they did send us a statement that says in part that they are following state guidelines regarding means are meant to keep health workers safe as they deal.
So Antoinette, earlier we said this was the first of three.
Yes.
So are
Guess where the other two are?
Already planned?
Guess where the other two are?
The group is actually planning 2 more protests. One is at South Shore University Hospital in Bayshore. That's
South
tomorrow.
Shore?
The other one is at Good Sam in West Islip.
Both on the South Shore. Notice all those nurses are white. Notice all of these ignorant white people that News 12 gears to. You have no idea how good you have it. You have no idea how good we have it in this country right now. You're upset about having to take a vaccine that is going to protect your health and the health of others. You're upset about having to wear a mask, your kids having to wear a mask in school. Imagine what they're going through in Australia right now. Take a look at this. Just sitting and eating outside. What do you think you're doing? You can't do this in Australia in a lot of places. Let me read this to you. All right? Moms for Liberty and all you snobs out there on the South Shore, which I'm sure I'll get like 30 dislikes because, of course, you can't go against these people. Well, I am going against you. I don't care. Because you don't know how lucky you got it. Look at what these people in Australia are going through right now. James Adcock and his partner were sitting in the corner of the Potts Point markets on Saturday, each eating noodle soup. They were outside when a suited man approached them and asked, "What do you think you're doing?" The man was a King's Cross police officer who, along with his colleagues, had been busy at the open-air markets in Fitzroy Gardens that day, doling out 6 fines for breaching public health orders. That's right. If you sit outside and eat something on a park bench, you're going to get a $1,000 fine. That's something to be upset about. That's something to protest about. The blitz on the weekly inner-city scene has highlighted the confusion about what is allowable under public health orders as police ramp up their COVID-19 compliance operation across Sydney and statewide after Police Commissioner Mike Fuller urged them to go to high-level enforcement. Mr. Adcock said he and his partner had been standing away from the crowd, holding their masks when they were approached. I wasn't aware that I was doing anything wrong. By the guidelines I found online, I assumed that this was quite okay, he recalled, of the episode that left him $1,000 poorer. I wouldn't pay that, dude, all right? People of Australia have got to resist this tyranny. I said, we've come to do some shopping, but we're eating something first. That morning, the same officer approached a man, and this officer, whoever this officer is, dude, why don't you go live in China? Why don't you go work for the commies? Because you are a commie. The same officer approached a man sitting on the verge of Fitzroy Gardens drinking a coffee with his partner and asked, "What do you think you're doing?" before taking their details and telling them to expect a $1,000 fine in the mail. The man, who did not want it to be identified, said he would challenge the fine if it arrived because he believed he was firmly in the definition of outdoor recreation, which the public health order for households or groups in 2 local government areas are not under stricter conditions. The NSW police spokeswoman said they were working closely with market organizers to ensure COVID-19 compliance and implementation of the COVID Safe Plan going forward. So this is what's going on in Australia. People are sitting in parks getting tickets for going to parks, going to beaches, walking around. It's a police state. You think you're upset about having to get a vaccine. You're upset about having to wear a mask. Imagine not being able to go outside. Imagine being told that you cannot watch the sunset. Imagine being told you can't travel more than a few miles from your home. This is the reality of life in many parts of Australia right now. And there have been a lot of protests. It hasn't been making the news very much at all. But if you Google Australia protests, you will see there are a lot of protests going on right now. But unfortunately, not enough people are taking to the streets right now in Australia. And it's unbelievable what's going on. And there's not a whole lot of news about this. But that is a true lockdown. People are forced to be in their homes. All right? That is ridiculous what's going on. And the people of Australia, in this point, it has come to the point where the people of Australia, yeah, I support their right to protest. In fact, I think it's warranted that the people of Australia might have to overthrow their government to get their freedom back. All right? That's what they might have to do. That's something to be upset about. Not having to wear a mask in school or getting vaccinated. You know what? Your kid is free not to want to have to wear a mask, and he doesn't have to go to school. You're free to get another job if you don't want to be a nurse. These people in Australia aren't even free to go walk in a park and sit down and have something and sit down on a bench. And some commie police officer who thinks he's part of the Red Guard gives you a $1,000 ticket just for being in a park. This guy right here. This guy right here. He thinks he's a communist. He thinks he's a dictator. He should be overthrown. I mean, you know, and he's like, well, you know, we've got to wait till 70% of the people are vaccinated before we have, and they have much fewer cases than we do. So, again, be lucky you're in the United States and you're not living under this thing. Our freedom. All the people out there protesting, Moms for Liberty, why don't you go to Australia? Why don't you help the people of Australia be free again? But no, they only care about themselves. And for the people of Australia, it is up to you to overthrow this dictator right here. It's up to you to take back control of your government and to defy these stupid lockdowns. All right? And the same thing for New Zealand, too. All right? Again, you're complaining about masks. You're complaining about being vaccinated. You are free to live your life. You are free to go outside. You're free to go inside a restaurant. You can't do any of those things in many parts of Australia right now. So don't take it for granted you live in the United States of America. But it's all about these people on the South Shore. They're very snobby. They're very arrogant. And, and if you go against them, boy, you get dislikes. Oh, let's take a look at my YouTube. I'll show you all the dislikes I've gotten. I don't like doing this, but we're going to do this because I want to show you on some of these videos here. Let's see. It's not showing up on here. Why is it not showing up? Content. There you go. So take a look at some of these videos, and some of them have gotten, look at that, 22 dislikes when I called out News 12 the last time. So again, they don't like being called out. They just want to continue to live in their enclaves, in their own little world, upset that it isn't 100% their way and that they've got to wear a mask, their kids have to wear a mask, and they have to get vaccinated. This is the way it is in the pandemic. The government does have the right to do those things. The businesses have the right to do those things. But the government does not have the right to lock people in their homes. The government does not have the right to shut down businesses. The government does not have the right to tell people they can't sit in a park. So there's a big difference as to what's going on right now. And for the people of Australia, they're fighting for their freedom right now. They really are fighting for their freedom. And this guy and the Australian government needs to be overthrown. All right? Because what's going on, finding people $1,000 for sitting in a park is absolute ridiculous. What has happened to Australia? Australia has become a dictatorship. It is becoming like China. That's what it's turning into. China. All right? So again, for those spoiled little preppy moms out there, the little Karens out there, upset their kids have to wear a mask, even though, I don't even have it on here, because it's not in the News 12 story. But if we go to News 12, well, it's not going to be on there because it's not on the News 12 thing anymore. But this woman's like, show me the science. Show me the science. The science is that most kids aren't vaccinated. All right? And if they're not vaccinated, they need to have a mask on. And if you're a teacher, and if you're a nurse, and you're around people who maybe can't be vaccinated or have weakened immune systems, then you have to do what you can to protect people's health. It's that simple. We're not asking that much. We're not asking that much at all. You can go to Australia and see how bad they have it. And you can't even leave your own home. So, once again, snobs, you're being snobs. I'm going to call you out. Be grateful you're in the United States.